Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Andy. I tell ancient Chinese stories. If you think China is so weird, you have to dig into its long history to understand its culture and civilization. I can't tell you the future of China, but I can tell you its past, story by story. I think everybody knows about Confucius, but there were many other philosophers at the same time. Liezi is one of them, and his book is called Liezi. Liezi's theory is not Confucianism, it's Taoism or Taoism, similar to Laozi's thinking. In his book, it was recorded that there was a fair land in northwest China. It's called the Kingdom of Huaxu. This kingdom was very far away. No matter how hard you tried, walking or riding, you will never get there in your whole lifetime. People lived there didn't have any desires or hobbies. Everything was followed the Tao by the nature. People had neither fun of life nor fear of death, so they could live a long life in tranquility. That makes sense. People would neither get drowned in the water nor get burnt in the fire. They could fly in the sky and see through the clouds. Even thunder could not disturb their hearing. They did live in the paradise. This means it's full of philosophical meanings. This kingdom was the birthplace of Fuxi, another ancient ancestor of Chinese people. The two photos on the left are cultural relics from different ancient tombs. One is a brick carving and the other is a wall painting. The female is Nuwa. I told her story before. The male is Fuxi. They were brother and sister. How could you understand the unique Chinese culture? I can help you. This is the Chinese version of Adam and Eve. Why did they have snake bodies? Personally, I think that man and woman were lured by the serpent and they committed the crime. So they had snake bodies, symbolized that they were guilty. But there was no fruit of the tree mentioned in the Chinese legend. Fuxi's mother was from that peaceful kingdom. One day, she hung out in the wilderness. She found a big footprint on the ground and she put her foot into it. She got pregnant and delivered a baby later. In the early matriarchal society, children only know their mothers. People believed that a woman was more powerful than man because they could give birth to babies. People thought that a pregnancy had nothing to do with man. So they believed that women had some magic power from their tribal totem. Man is not important. They just knew the fruit came out from the field, but they didn't know who had planted it. Well, let's go back to our story. Who left that footprint? He was the god of thunder. The guy on the left with the snake body is a wall painting of the god of thunder excavated from a tomb over 2,000 years old. Fuxi had a snake body due to his father like son. I have to remind you that these legends are just like a bowl of mixed porridge. Like those in ancient Greek and ancient Egypt, don't take it seriously, just for fun. I will talk about the concrete historical stories later, as long as you follow me. Before agriculture was invented, people lived by hunting, fishing, and food gathering in their family groups. They caught fish by hands or harpoons and were barely surviving. At that time, no nation or country was founded. My ancestors were as same as yours. Primitive fishing was too inefficient. As the chief of the tribe, Fuxi was worried about the starving people. How could they catch more fish? One day, Fuxi saw a spider was catching bugs with his web. He wove a cobweb with ropes and gave it to people. Then they caught more fish and appreciated to Fuxi. Later, people modified the fishing net to catch birds. We didn't forget the skills which we learned from Fuxi thousands years ago, but catching a wild bird is illegal now. Today in China, every morning, almost in every city park, you will find some elders hang their bird cages on a tree. They listen to the singing of the birds And they even walk their birds just like you walk your dog. The bird cage is covered by blue cloth, which means no disturb. The birds are enjoying the swing as a reward of the singing. They can't fly anymore, but they were enjoyed by the G-force. Are the birds angry in the cage? Chinese people love birds and they keep them in the cage as pets. Western people love birds and they watch them with binoculars. This is the different culture. Chinese people treat bird as friend. They feed the bird with different kind of grains, worms, and vegetables to prevent them from getting sick. They even teach them how to speak Mandarin. Western culture is to give the bird freedom. Birds were created earlier than man. Birds and man are equal to enjoy the freedom. You can't put the birds into the cage because the birds have the rights to fly. It's called bird rights. Chinese people are just like the birds. We have lived in the cage for thousands of years. We got used to it and they couldn't fly anymore. We couldn't survive outside the cage. Sorry, I have gotten carried away. Fuxi also invented and promoted the livestock breeding. During hunting season, they got more games. Some baby animals were captured alive. Fuxi asked the people to build pens to keep the animals and feed them. They could eat animals when they got nothing from hunting. Gradually, people found that it's easier to keep the animals in the pens than running after them in the wilds. That became livestock raising. Fuxi also made new regulations for marriage. Siblings from same family and cousins from same clan were not allowed to get married anymore. They will find their spouses from other tribes. But Fuxi's most important invention is the eight diagrams. Before writing characters were invented, people tied knots to record simple things. Fuxi drew different strokes on the ground and created the eight diagrams. These strokes formed different symbols. Different symbols represent different things. There are heaven, earth, water, fire, wood, lake, and mountain. The combinations of different symbols could tell everything in the world. They embrace the black fish and the white fish in the middle, symbolize the yin and yang. It's called Taiji, means supreme. Maybe you have heard of feng shui. Feng means wind, shui means water. That is from the eight diagrams. It was a kind of a Chinese ancient science, but later, part of it became a superstition. People paid a lot of money to the feng shui master to change their lives. The eight diagrams had influenced the neighboring country. In 1882, Korean people designed a flag with a symbol of Taiji in the middle. A Chinese diplomat recommended them to add the eight diagrams on the flag, but the Koreans only chose four of them. Well, that's all for today. See you next time. Bye bye.